Let's see, the last one other question that we got was why so much back burning? So, well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that when we're fighting fire, we have multiple tactics, one being direct. And Jeff, our operations on the East Zone, talked about when we go direct, we try to get right up against the edge of the fire and pretty much remove all that burnable vegetation and fuel from the fire to halt the spread. When the fire is too intense, in other words, the radiant heat or the convective heat coming off that fire is just way too hot for us to get close to, we have to go indirect. So we're not right up against the edge of the fire. When that happens, at some point, you have to remove that fuel between the fire line and the main fire in order to stop it. And if we don't, that fire will continue to burn actively and intensely until it gets the line, and if it's too hot, we can't hold the line. So one of the tools we use is we will put fire on the ground. We'll use fire to fight fire. We'll put fire on the ground to remove that burnable vegetation. Ideally speaking, we do it under our terms. So we do it when it's manageable, it's controlled, and when the wind is in our favor, so it pushes it back in on itself to reduce the potential for spotting. That being said, every now and then we get forced into a position where if we don't put fire down on the ground right now, it's just going to roll right over the top of us. And so every now and then you may hear of, crews having to do defensive firing, and that's sometimes that it works, and sometimes it doesn't. As you've seen, it is quite a bit of calculation has to go into it, experience. So it's a tool that we use as judiciously as possible, but it is one of the tools in our toolbox. An associated question is, why do we fire from the valley floor up? So I wouldn't say we always do that. In fact, on the Grizzly Ridge, we burn from the ridge top down. But every now and then when we're working in an area where the hillside is way too steep that we cannot safely engage firefighters up on that steep slope, or it's too steep for mechanized equipment such as dozers, fire really is our only solution. So we secure a line, generally speaking, where the dozers can be at the toe of the slope or the valley bottom, and then we will put fire on the ground. If we just light from the bottom up, generally speaking, you get a very hot, intense fire because that fire will just rip right up the hill. So whenever possible, we will try to bring fire from top down and slowly back it down. If you're curious what I mean about backing fire, light a match and hold it vertically so that the candle is, the match or the fire is at the top. It'll slowly back down that matchstick until, it gets to your fingers, and then you blow it out. But say you light that match and you hold it upside down, what happens? That flame gets longer because it burns the entire matchstick, and it hurts your hand. So holding the match upside down, that's head fire. Holding the match up, fire side up, that's backing fire. So as much as possible, we try to do the backing fire because that's our way of controlling it. And if we can burn from the top down, we light a strip, let it burn, let it cool off, light another strip below it, so on and so forth. So hopefully that helps explain some of the tactics that we use. And if not, if there's no other questions, I'll give it back to Kim. Thank you very much.